Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to ask, are you a producer or a consumer?
Taking this blindfold off to see what this life's all about. Threw my virtues to the ground, drinking from the devil's cup. Take that pill, drink it down, flashing lights all around. High as hell, drunk like I finally don't give a fuck. 'Cause I'm breaking all the rules tonight. Not going down without a fight. As long as I'm still breathing, doesn't matter how hard you might try. We can take this freedom.
Okay, so I'm coming to you from Donington Castle, which is on the outskirts of Newbury. It's really nice up here. You can see the landscape of Newbury in front of you. Newbury is a town, for those of you who don't know, just in Berkshire, the north side of Berkshire. It's about 20 miles, I think, probably from the office, but just went out for lunch, and thought, oh, you know what, this would be a great place, because I try to bring you guys to nice places, right? I don't want to just sit in the office all the time, although, that might be more convenient. So today what I want to talk about is production versus consumption, right? The other day I talked about, reaching 40 years old and midlife crises and all this kind of things. And one of the things I left out was when I turned 40, I started thinking more about production and consumption, because one of the things I do a lot is consume, right? I told you guys before how I read like a book a week, like if I'm going to do something like, create a blog or, start doing videos or whatever, or doing apps, right? I would read loads of books about it, right? I would read all kinds of books and think, yeah, I just need more information, right? But it got to the point where I realized I was consuming far more than I produced. So, it was like I had a lot of, one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to create my app, one day I'm going to start doing YouTube videos, one day, right? And I realized that all this, getting more information and consuming more information was just another form of procrastination, right? One of the things my team is probably sick of hearing about is we have to produce, like we have to get something out the door, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be good, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because perfection is another form of procrastination, right? And again, this, when it comes to procrastinating, I think I'm probably the expert. Over the years, I've just, when you get to certain ages, you realize you don't have a lot to show for it. And this again goes to midlife crises, and I really started to look at the difference between producing and producing and consuming. Like you look at a lot of people in Hollywood or people in business or whatever. You ask them questions about popular culture, they don't really know anything because they're too busy producing, right? They're too busy putting things out there. And this is when I talked about the fact that we have too many apps, like we have like where it gets really difficult to maintain. One of the reasons for that is, we always have to be putting something out there. We don't learn anything about the market until we put something out on the market, right? I could do market research for months. I could sit there and say, well, the best technology to use for this would be this, and I need to learn more about it. And I tell you what, I could go to the library or go onto Amazon, go onto my Kindle, load my Kindle up with books, and read tons of books about a subject before I do anything about it. And I know I could do that because I do that. I have done that in the past. And sometimes I catch myself going into that trend again. I catch myself into watching too many YouTube videos, reading too many books, doing too much preparation for something which I would learn far more once I started doing. It's like learning how to walk. You don't learn how to walk by somebody telling you how to do it or by reading a book or whatever. You just get up and you stumble. And a lot of times failure is not an option when we do this kind of stuff. It's a little bit embarrassing if we put an app out there and it doesn't work, or we start creating t-shirts, create a t-shirt shop and nobody buys one, or we put out an ad and spend a lot of money on an ad and we don't get the results that we want. But that's part of the process. We have to learn from those kind of things and move forward, right? So I guess today I just wanted my message today, you know, standing in front of a structure that was obviously produced, right? I'm sure, you know, lots of people said, yeah, you know what, I was going to build a castle, but you know, just reading up on it, right? Somebody had to do something. Somebody had to move. Somebody had to open up the code view and start typing away. When they got stuck in a quagmire, a problem, they had to push through it in order to finish the project. So anyway, those are just my thoughts today. That's it for today. It's a beautiful day. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.